we've got the top secrets of TikTok marketing that no one tells you. Now, we've already had TikTok on stage in the fireside chat a few minutes ago, but we've got half an hour now with Abraham Lieberman from Clicks Talent, I think. Now, do we have... you ready to go? Let's do it. Come on up. A round of applause, please, for Abraham to talk about the top secrets of TikTok marketing.
Hi, everybody. My name is Abraham, and I am the CEO and founder of Clicks Talent. We are the world's #1 TikTok influencer marketing agency, working with TikTok influencers and on the TikTok platform for over 7 years now. Quick background on my company. So we started about 7 years ago working with social media platforms, launching in Asia, trying to market themselves in the US. And our job was to find interesting and creative people to help launch these platforms in the US. We did that mainly by using a platform at the time called Musical.ly. So we would search for creators on this platform, we would recruit them, and we would use them to help market these new platforms. As time went by, we built up a roster of over 4,500 influencers that we work with that are now on the now called platform TikTok. And that's how we got to where we are today. Now, a little bit of history on the TikTok platform. So TikTok started off as an app called Musical.ly, and around 2018, right? Yeah, 2018, they were bought out by ByteDance, a Chinese company that had their own short-form video app called Douyin, which was TikTok, but in Chinese. And they merged the Musical.ly platform into their TikTok platform and created TikTok overnight. Nowadays, TikTok is used by over 100 million people worldwide and is one of the biggest social media apps, one of the biggest apps in the world. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 main aspects of TikTok marketing. So the first is how much should you be paying for TikTok influencer marketing? How much should you pay for a post? How much should you be paying for content? How much should you be paying for licensing rights? What should you be paying for? Next, we're going to be talking about about how to measure your results of your campaign. What is TikTok used for? How do you know if the TikTok campaign you launched was successful? What are you doing with TikTok? And lastly, we're going to talk about agencies on TikTok, the different types of agencies that help you run your campaigns on TikTok, and most importantly, how to tell if these agencies are fraudulent or legitimate, as unfortunately there is a lot of fraudulent companies in the industry. So to start off, we have what can you actually pay for on TikTok? What are your options when you're looking to run a TikTok campaign? What can you be paying for? So first off, you have a video, obviously. The basis of TikTok is video content, so you can pay for what is called UGC, or user-generated content. This is where a creator will create a video for you. They will not post it on their social media. They will simply create the video, short-form video content that you can then take and run TikTok ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, whatever kind of ad you want to run with it, or post it on your own social media. Next, you have posts. So this is where the creator takes that video that they just created for you and posts it on their social media. So again, whether we're talking about TikTok or another social media platform, you're paying for them to create the video content and then post that content to their thousands or millions of followers. Next, we have link in bio. So a lot of creators might include this for free, but as a general rule of thumb, if not mentioned, then expect to pay extra for a link in bio. So if you're running a campaign and you want to promote your game or your product and you want to track installs or purchases, then you can put a link in the influencer's bio. This is a clickable link that the viewers can go to the bio, click the link, download the game, purchase the product, whatever it might be, and you're paying for that usually on like a 24-hour basis. After that, you have licensing rights. So this is if you pay for a video to be created, and you now want to, the influencer posted that video, and now the video's doing really well. It's got 10 million views. You want to take that video and use it in ads. You want to post it on your social media. Very simple to, very similar to the video content creation, but this was also posted online. You can now get the rights for this video to use in your own social media and your own ads, and those are called licensing rights. And lastly, we have the Spark Ads. So Spark Ads is a feature on TikTok where TikTok basically gives you access to put money behind an influencer's video that was created for your company. So very similar to Instagram, where if any of you are familiar, you have the boost a post option where you can put money behind one of your Instagram posts, one of your Facebook posts, and boost it to millions of people. So same concept, but instead of this being done on your post on TikTok, you're doing this on a branded post by an influencer that posted on your behalf. So TikTok gives you the option to basically pay for that post to be shown in ads all across TikTok. Now, the pricing for all of these different things really ranges. It is still very new. TikTok is still very new, and it's still kind of the Wild West when it comes to pricing. So you can expect to pay anywhere from $10 all the way up to $200,000, with obvious outliers going past that. The pricing of, or basically what you're to expect to pay, is really dependent on multiple different factors. The three main factors that you should be looking at when calculating how much to pay an influencer, or how much to decide if an influencer's cost is worth it, are first off the number of followers, which, caveat, yes, it's important to look at the number of followers, but take it with a grain of salt. Followers can be bought, followers can be bots, followers can be fake. It's not a number that you want to look at and go, oh, this is the main number we're considering when pricing an influencer. Next, you have the engagement versus views ratio. How many people are engaging with a video on average versus how many people are watching that video? It's very important to see that. If somebody's getting 10 million views and has 10 likes, there's something fishy going on, probably bought the views, probably not legitimate, or they're just creating really uninteresting content that nobody actually cares about. And lastly, you have the actual amount of views. How many people are you reaching? How many people are you going to be able to potentially get to with this influencer's content? Those are the main aspects that you should be looking at. There's obviously other aspects that go into it: content quality, how reliable an influencer is, and the list really goes on. Every agency and every company has their own internal metrics that they use to price influencers, but based on my experience, these are the three main things that you want to look at when trying to consider how much you should pay an influencer. Now, feel free to take a picture of this. This is a chart of how much we've come to see people pay in general for all the different things that I mentioned on TikTok. So you have videos. Again, this is when the influencer just creates a random video for you to use in your social media or your PPC ads. In general, you can expect to pay anywhere from $100,000 to $15,000. These numbers are based off of kind of a combination of what we charge, what independent influencers charge, and what some of our biggest competitors charge. So it is an average, but you will always find people charging less and people charging more. You then have posts, so you can expect to pay anywhere from $250 a post all the way up to $250,000. Obviously, that going towards the higher followed, higher engaged, more popular influencers. You have links in bio, so those go usually for anywhere from $100 to $5,000 per 24 hours. So, some influencers might give you package deals, they might include it, but again, this is just an idea of what to expect. And you have licensing rights and usage. So this is anywhere from $500 a month to $50,000 a month, or alternatively $1,000 for lifetime licensing rights, up to $100,000 for lifetime licensing rights. And lastly, you have Spark Ads. So neither us nor most of our competitors charge for Spark Ads, but I have come across many independent influencers that do expect to get paid for Spark Ad access. I am a strong believer that that's just not right. It makes no sense. When you pay for Spark Ads, when you pay to put money, like to do Spark Ads, you're basically coming to the influencer saying, let me give $10,000 to push your video to millions of people. It helps the influencer gain followers, gain views. It helps them look better to future potential clients. So it's very, like, it makes no sense, in my opinion, to be charging for Spark ads when it's kind of a win-win situation for both sides. The next part of my talk is about what are you using TikTok for? How do you know that your campaign was successful? What should your goals be? How do you measure the ROI? What is TikTok for? And the answer to that is mainly brand awareness. So the focus of your campaign on TikTok should be brand awareness. I get clients all the time come and say, oh, we want installs, we want downloads, we want purchases. And I say, that's amazing. Let's talk about a YouTube campaign. But if we're talking about TikTok, the goal here is brand awareness and brand awareness only. How many eyeballs can we get on your brand? How many eyeballs can we get on your game? And how can we do that in the most cost-effective way possible? So then a lot of my clients come and say, okay, that's great, but how do we know if the campaign was successful? So it's pretty simple. You have two ways to measure if a TikTok campaign is successful and if it's worth your time and money. The first is the obvious way, which is, on average, you get 100,000 downloads a month. You ran a TikTok campaign, and all of a sudden, you're getting 150,000 downloads a month. Clearly, the TikTok campaign is doing something, obviously assuming that you aren't running any other marketing campaigns at the same time. The second way is by setting KPIs before you start your campaign. So you set KPIs, usually working together with the agency or with the influencer, where you guys decide, look, we want to hit 1 million views, 10 million views, 100 million views. And you use that as a measurement of if your campaign was successful and if the CPM was worth it and if altogether you want to run another campaign or not. So again, pretty straightforward. You decide on 100 million views, campaign reaches 50 million views. That was a failure. Don't do TikTok marketing or use a different influencer. Vice versa, you set 100 million views, you hit 200 million views. Clearly, that was a very successful campaign. Continue working with that influencer and continue doing TikTok marketing. Now, the last part of my talk focuses on the types of agencies that you're going to come across when working with influencers. So, obviously, you have the influencer themselves. In general, when working with an influencer directly, you are going to pay more all the time, and they're going to be a pain in the butt to work with. That's just the uncomfortable truth about working with influencers, is that it is not an easy industry. These people are highly volatile, highly emotional. They have drama and stuff going on in their lives all the time. Working with influencers is extremely hard, and you are probably better off working with a company that does that as their job and knows how to handle these influencers. So the types of companies that you have when considering a company is, first off, marketing and PR companies. These are companies that focus mainly on public relations and your public image and crisis management, and also offer marketing services. It's not their main service. It's not the main thing that they focus on, but it is something that they offer, and it's something that they can do for you. I personally suggest against using these companies. Usually you're paying anywhere from 5x up to 20x the price of an influencer with these companies, as they operate on a more generalized budget basis, where it's like, give us a certain budget and we'll give you 5 influencers. Those 5 influencers might be complete garbage in terms of followers, engagement, content quality, etc., but we promised you 5 influencers, so we're living up to our word. Then you have talent management companies. So these are companies that usually manage anywhere from 5 to 20 influencers. They're small boutique firms. Some of them are really big, like Night Media, which manages Mr. Beast and some other very well-known influencers. But the majority of them are small boutique companies that manage a small amount of influencers and have access to a very limited number of influencers. With that said, they do have a very good relationship with these influencers. And if they want to, they can give you really good pricing. But if they notice that you're really interested in their influencer and they know that you only want that influencer, they will generally charge you more, knowing that you can't go anywhere else to get that influencer. And last, you have influencer agencies similar to my company, where influencer agencies usually work with a network of influencers. Sometimes they represent some influencers, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's more of just a relationship basis. But they usually work with a large network of influencers, They have good relationships with these influencers and can deliver high-quality services using their influencer network. Now, some things to be aware of when trying to choose an agency, regardless of which type of agency you want to work with. Many of them do shady stuff, to put it simply. So you have paying for press. Nowadays, when you see influencer agencies, or really any company being mentioned in publications like Forbes, Business Insider, Yahoo, and many, many others, Crunchable, and etc., most of the time they're paid for. So lots of people don't know this, but nowadays you can pay to be featured in anything. Lots of articles that mention companies are usually paid for, and a lot of the times they will mention that it's a paid sponsorship, but all the way on the bottom in really, really small font so that you don't notice. Be aware of this. For example, if you go and look up a top 10 influencer marketing agency list and you see influencer agency on that list, I usually, when I'm looking for a partner or something, I usually start from number 3 onwards, as usually the first 2 are paid for. Then you have paying for followers. So this is very common in the influencer industry. It's common with marketing agencies. It's common with the influencers themselves, where they pay for followers. Be aware that just because somebody has 5 million followers doesn't mean they have the reach of 5 million followers. Just because they have 10 million followers doesn't mean there's some extremely successful company who was able to build up a following of 10 million people. It's not always the truth. Look at the content, look at the engagement, see who it is that you're working with. Next, you have faking our clients. So I've personally come across this on a couple of companies where CEOs have basically admitted to me that it's true, where they put companies like Google and Amazon and Walmart as our clients, when in reality they have never worked with these brands. But they're new, they're getting started, and they want people to think that they have been around for longer and have a large set of large clients. Personally, I would suggest looking for companies that kind of have a mix of well-known brand names, but also lesser-known brand names, showing that it's probably a more truthful outlook on who these companies are actually working with. And lastly, you have agencies with no experience. So this is kind of a touch-up mainly on marketing and PR agencies that don't have any experience in influencer marketing, and more specifically, don't have experience in TikTok marketing. They heard about TikTok a year and a half ago and decided, we're TikTok experts, and they're not. Be aware of who you're working with. Make sure that if you're going to hire someone to do TikTok, that they actually know what TikTok is. The same way I wouldn't hire a PPC ads agency to run my Instagram influencer campaigns. Now, to summarize today, we spoke about what you can pay for on TikTok and how much to expect to pay for it. The ways to measure if your campaign was successful or not, and what you should be using TikTok for. And lastly, what kind of agency to work with and how to avoid working with agencies that don't know what they're doing. It was a pleasure speaking with you all. Thank you very much. And I have some time for questions if anyone has any.
Hello there. Thank you very much. Fantastic. A great run through there. Very, very, very interesting, and some great actionable things there, and some insights that people should be aware of. Does anyone have any questions for Abraham there? Oh, one around here, Mr. Chris James himself. Going to try and sell him some content.
I'm not going to sell you my TikTok channel. It's fine. All 4 viewers probably wouldn't be worth much. No, I was going to say, it's really useful data. Thank you very much for sharing it. And it sounds like you know your onion's been there for 8 years. One thing I guess I would say, and this is the usual thing with influencers and the slight wild west of influencer world, there's quite a lot of space in those range of prices that you've kind of quoted. Between $0 and $15,000 or whatever it was is quite a range. So I know you can't answer because it's going to depend on the case, but do you have any tips for people trying to find good market value? Because is that what you're for, really? Is that what you're providing? I mean, how can they just, because a lot of people just won't be used to this marketing and want to feel some sort of vindication they're not just, getting kind of ripped off, I think.
Sure. So that is kind of where we come in. I'll give you a great example. We're running a campaign right now with a client where that client is using us and another agency to see who performs better. Now, the thing is that this other agency has reached out already to 3 of our exclusive influencers and 1 influencer that's non-exclusive, but that we've already reached out to. They have offered all 4 triple the amount of money that I got all 4 to agree to, which makes my job a lot harder. Because if I got an influencer to agree to $150, and then 2 days later I'm getting an email from that influencer saying, hey, but this company just offered me $500, not only does it make my job harder, but it also is basically proving my point where we're talking about a marketing company that does not do TikTok marketing. It's not their thing. And they're basically taking our clients' money and spending it really badly. Our goal is to get our client the most content, the most views at the lowest cost. Their goal clearly isn't that. So that's kind of where a company like mine comes into play, where our job is to make sure you're getting your value. If you want a generalized piece of advice, no matter what kind of views, what kind of engagement, doesn't matter who the influencer is, don't ever pay more than $500 for an influencer that has less than 100,000 followers. Doesn't matter what that influencer has. I've never seen an influencer with less than 100,000 followers with the engagement and views that justify a higher payment than $500. So that's just like a kind of a piece of advice that you could take home.
That's brilliant. Thank you. A direct answer and something quite actionable straight away. Thank you. We're almost at the end of time, but do we have time for maybe one more question? No. Well, in that case, a round of applause for Abraham. Yeah, let's do that.
Thank you very much.
And if anyone wants to ask you a question privately, perhaps outside of this environment, they can track you down on Meet to Match or outside on the show floor?
Yep, I'm around. You can find me at Meet to Match, LinkedIn, or on our website, clickstalent.com. I'm always available.
That's great. Thank you. And yeah, hopefully people will see you around the show. And Brilliant. Thank you.